Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the architecture of the CPU and its performance. Next, this presentation will be done by Orkodipal, Kaustav Sarkar, Kaustav Kundu, and by me, Devjit Kaur. My roll number is 31. Next, the CPU architecture basically defines the instruction, the functionality of the CPU, and the memory models that are relied on the operating system. The CPU macro architecture defines the implementation and the design of the processor. Next. Here we will see the major parts of a CPU. Generally, CPU has three components: ALU, arithmetic logic unit, CU, control unit, and the memory or the storage unit, as we can see in the diagram as well. Next, here we will see the main functions of microprocessing unit, which is synonymous to CPU. It acts as a group of devices to communicate with peripheral devices, providing timing signal, directing the flow of data, and performing computer tasks as specified by the instructions in the memory. Next. Now we will see about one of the most popular microprocessor, that is the 8085 microprocessor. It is a 8-bit microprocessor which is capable to address 64K of memory. It has 40 pins. The 8085 microprocessor uses a single plus 5 volt DC supply for its operation. The clock speed of the processor is about 3 megahertz. Here we can see the block diagram of the 8085 microprocessor. Next. Now we will see what is ALU. It is the arithmetic logic unit which performs arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic function includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and comparisons. Logical functions mainly include selecting, comparing, and merging the data. Furthermore, ALUs can be used for maintaining timers that help run the computers. ALU includes accumulator, temporary register, arithmetic and logic circuits, and flags. Result is stored in the accumulator and flag. Here we can see the block diagram of ALU also. Next, Kaustav will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Devjit. My name is Kaustav Sarkar and University roll number 07. So, continuing on the topic computer architecture, next we have accumulator. An accumulator is a register, intermediate storage of arithmetic and logic data. The main role of an accumulator is adding the sequence of numerical value and storing it. From this diagram, we can see the 8-bit ALU where different logical operations are stored in form of flag bits. Here S is the sign flag, AC is auxiliary carry flag, Z is the zero flag, and P is the parity flag. We will discuss about their roles in the next slide. Next slide. So actually flag register is a special purpose register. Depending upon the result, after any arithmetic operation, the flag bits become set or reset. We have 5 types of flags in our ALU. First we have the sign flag. After any operation, if the MSB of the result is 1, it indicates the number is negative and the sign flag becomes set. If the MSB is 0, the number is positive and the sign flag becomes reset. Second, we have the zero flag. After any arithmetical or logical operation, if the result is 0, the zero flag becomes set, otherwise it becomes reset. Third, we have the parity flag. If after any logical operation the result has even parity and even number of 1 bits, the parity register becomes set, otherwise it becomes reset. Fourth, we have the auxiliary flag. This is the flag which is used in the BCD number system. If any logical operation generates any carry and passes on to the next bit, then it becomes set, otherwise it is reset. This is the only flag register which is not accessible by the programmer. At last, we have the carry flag. The carry is generated when performing n-bit operation and the result is more than n bits. Then this flag becomes set, otherwise it becomes reset. Next slide. Next, we have the register section in ALU. which is basically used to store data and transfer the data from register by using instruction. Some of them are stack pointer, which is a memory pointer, and it always points to the top of the stack, and it points to the most recent entry or the last value put onto the stack. Next, we have the program counter. Program counter is a CPU register in the computer processor which has the address of the next instruction to be executed from memory. Next, we have the instruction register. An instruction register is a part of CPU's control unit that holds the instruction currently being executed or decoded. Next, we have the memory address register or MAR, which is a CPU register that either stores the memory address from which the data will be fetched from the CPU or the address to which the data will be sent. Next, we have the memory data register. It is also registered in a computer's processor or the central processing unit that stores the data being transformed to and from the immediate access storage. Next slide. Next, we have the time and control section. This unit is provides timing and the control signal to the microprocessor to perform various operations. It has three control signals and it controls external and internal circuits. It operates with reference to a clock signal. Next slide. Next, coming to the topic, the types of signal. First, we have the address bus, which is unidirectional and used as a high order address bus. Second, we have data bus, which is bidirectional for dual purpose. They are used as a low order address bus as well as a data bus. Third, we have the control signal and the status signal. Under control signal, we have RD bar. It is a read control signal. If it is active, then the memory read the data. Then we have the WR bar. It is a write control signal. When it is active, that means it is in written mode into a selected memory. Under status signal, we have ALU. When ALU is high, it uses address bus. When it is low, it uses the data bus. And we have others like IOM bar and etc. Next we have the power supply and the frequency signal. In power supply and frequency signal, we have VCC, VSS, and clock out are the components of them. Next, we have the externally initiated signal, under which INTR, trap, hold, ready, and reset in bar are the input ports, and INTA bar, HLDA, and reset out are the output ports. All these have their own specific function. At last, we have the serial input output port. It has two signals, serial input and serial output, to implement a serial transmission. So that's it from my part. Next slide on instruction format will be discussed by Kaustav Gurung. Thank you.